Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we'll be talking about DeShaun Watson and him officially requesting a trade from the Houston Texans. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY, and if you haven't already, you can check out Just Jets, which is my podcast that drops every Monday. One more thing before we get into today's video. So if you don't know this about me, a little peek behind the curtain, not only do I do Jets content and have a full-time job, but on the side, I cover the NHL, specifically the New York Islanders. And in the NHL, there's something very big that happens once a year, thanks to Bell Canada, which is a Canadian company, and they raise awareness for mental health. You might see the hashtag on social media, Bell Let's Talk. And the goal is to raise awareness and raise funds for mental health and to end the stigma around discussing mental health and stuff like that. So what I wanted to do today was kind of bring that over and have my worlds collide, the hockey world, into this platform that I have and I'm so blessed to have. And I wanted to just say that if you need help or are someone who needs help, it's completely normal and okay to admit that. I myself have anxiety issues that I get help for, and that's completely okay. It's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. So if you yourself are struggling, or if someone you know is struggling, have them reach out to someone and get that help that they need. All the revenue from this video that I'm creating today is going to go to a mental health organization. So if you're interested, I'll link it down below in the description so you can donate, but just so you guys know that any revenue I get from this, that's where it's going. So I just wanted to put that out there. And like I said, it's completely okay to talk about those things, and let's end the stigma together. All right, so now let's talk DeShaun Watson. Let's get into New York Jets football, which I'm really excited about, as DeShaun Watson officially puts in a trade request. Now, they hired their new coach, and we found out who it was late last night. And unfortunately, David Culley, I don't think, is going to be the guy to get DeShaun Watson one back. He was pretty much a longtime assistant, wasn't really ever an offensive coordinator or a defensive coordinator before. The hire seemed to come out of left field. I personally wasn't expecting that. I really thought it'd be either Leslie Frazier or Eric Bieniemy, and maybe Bieniemy would have the chance to get Watson to, smooth things over with the organization. But to me, it just shows that the front office, have seemed to side with general manager and advisors and stuff like that and go away from DeShaun Watson, which to me just seems like an absolute mistake. I don't know how you could possibly have a 25-year-old franchise quarterback and just say, you know what, no thanks, we're going to do everything possible to piss him off. We're going to be a dysfunctional franchise, which is exactly what they have been. So when their first mistake was letting Bill O'Brien have the amount of control that he did. That's where things started to go off the rails. They don't have draft capital, they don't have any cap space, and they have a disgruntled quarterback because of the situation that he's in. We saw how bad the locker room was. J.J. Watt had to come out and call out the locker room for not being prepared on a week-to-week basis. Walking off the field in Week 17, J.J. Watt apologized to DeShaun Watson saying, "I'm sorry we wasted another year with you." That's how bad the situation is in Houston. So I have no issue with him wanting out. And it makes perfect sense for why he would want to get out of that situation, because it's awful. It's almost like the Jets situation with Gase and Dow Loggins and Mike McCagnon running the show for as long as they did. Like, obviously, the Jets are in a much better position now with Douglas and Robert Saleh running it. It's less toxic, but it's clearly a toxic environment in Houston, and DeShaun Watson wants out. And supposedly, the Jets are in the conversation. You would think the Jets, Miami would be in there as well, but I lean more towards the Jets being favored over Miami, not only because of the Miami Herald report that we talked about last week, but just because if you're Houston, are you going to want to trade DeShaun Watson to get the pick back that would have been yours already? I don't know about that. And to me, the Jets could offer the best package because they could offer the number 2 pick. And that allows Houston to then take their own guy, whether it's Fields, Wilson, Lance, whatever they want to do at the quarterback position, they could do that. And then from the Jets' perspective, let's say they trade both first rounders this year and maybe one more first rounder next year, something like that. They could then go and say, okay, we'll trade Sam Darnold now because we're going to roll with DeShaun Watson. And you could recoup a second, so you could end up with 2 seconds, 2/3, a fourth, 2/5, and a 6th rounder, and that would still be a solid draft. Like, if you trade him to, let's say, I don't know, the Colts, where are they picking them? 54, 52? The Bears are right around there as well. Or maybe you move him to a team like the Saints or Steelers and something like that. There's going to be a lot of movement with quarterbacks this offseason, which I think is going to make for an exciting one. I'm absolutely thrilled for this offseason. I think it's going to be a lot of fun with pieces moving around, and the Jets being in the mix on a 25-year-old franchise quarterback who's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I would say a top 5 quarterback, no doubt about it. Is exciting. And I don't know if they're going to pull this off. Nobody knows yet. But the fact that their name continues to come up over and over and over again, Allen Robinson throwing teases out there, it's interesting times in Jets land, and there's absolutely reason to be excited. Why not? Buy into the rumors if you want. Have all that. We'll have the debates. We'll have the conversations, and we'll see. The next month or so is going to be really intriguing, and we'll see if something gets done. Now, technically, something can't get done on paper until March 17th when the new league year starts, but trades could be agreed to in principle. We saw that when Alex Smith was traded to Washington. So maybe something does get done this week or before March 17th. There's no way to know what's going to happen, but DeShaun Watson controls his own destiny now at this point. With his no trade clause, he can go just about anywhere, and we'll see what he's going to go for. But you'd imagine it's going to take a lot to get him because he's a damn good player. And if you're starting a franchise, Pat Mahomes, obviously the first guy you're going to take. DeShaun Watson's definitely in the top 3 of that conversation. If you're starting a franchise, obviously you're not going to go with a guy like Aaron Rodgers, who's at the back end of his career. Maybe Russell Wilson's in there, but you're not taking Tom Brady to start a franchise. But to take a 25-year-old top 5 quarterback, intriguing. So let me know what you think down in the comments below or on social media. Thanks so much for tuning in today, and thanks for giving me the opportunity on this platform to talk about the things that matter to me. And thank you. Really appreciate each and every one of you guys. So subscribe if you're new, and I'll talk to you next time.